My name is Matthew Payne and I currently teach Year 4 at British International School 2. I think I was in Year 4 and so about the class within which I teach right now, and my teacher was called Mrs. Healy, and I could not wait every single day to get up and come to school to be in her class. And I used to look at her and think, gosh, you know everything. Now I realise that she perhaps didn't know everything, but it was the environment that she created in that classroom, where all of the children were like a family together, and every day was different, it was never the same. And I think from then really, I wanted to become a teacher. It was only after I began to teach sport to young children in my hometown that I realised the capacity for a teacher within a classroom to have such an impact on the lives of young children, and to spend a whole year with the same children teaching every single subject of the curriculum. And that was something that as soon as I began, certainly my postgraduate degree in primary education, that I realised this is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life. I would say the earlier the better, because especially if the child is learning English as a second language, the sooner that second language is introduced, then I think the easier it would be for the child to speak both languages freely, which is certainly our aim at the British International School of Moscow. So when we think about our nursery group at the moment, which leads on then to Key Stage 1, I think at about age 3 or 4, if you can, as a family, begin to introduce a new language, then that's certainly preferable. I love it. Like I said at the beginning, I can't imagine doing anything else. I think I'm quite lucky and to be able to say that at my age I found something that I know I want to do for the rest of my life. When the holidays come around, although the school holidays can be quite long, that's the disadvantage is that halfway through the holidays you want to be back in the classroom with the children because you miss them. And I remember when I was learning to be a teacher at university, we had a 6-week placement, and it was the first time that I had my own class as such. Although they had their teacher was standing in the sidelines watching me and helping me take my first steps as a classroom teacher. And after those 6 weeks finished, I had my first feeling that the class that I'd had in my hands for just 1.5 months have then moved on to the next stage in their education. And it's exactly the same here at the end of every school year. Working in another country as well is an enormous privilege, and that's always something that I wanted to do from a very young age. I would say, above all else, the advantage of working at a school like BIS is the children. Now, to me, I think they're amazing, and the way that they approach their learning, their enthusiasm, their energy, their kindness to one another, it really is like a family in a very tranquil corner of Moscow. I would say that on top of that, all of the other teachers across the BIS schools are all highly qualified. We learn a lot from each other. We all share, of course, our love of learning and being in the classroom, and we also share that common thread in that we've all chosen Moscow as the place to come to and spend the next chapter of our lives. The leadership that oversee the primary schools and the secondary schools as well have very successfully created that foundation, and they've provided with all of us the support and the opportunity to have the classroom, the children, and everything we need to kind of fulfill our passion of teaching. The advantages of studying at BIS, where do I start? There are numerous. We have brilliant teachers I can't state how talented they all are. I think we're gifted. Just to be in a classroom and watch them teach and share their knowledge and the way that they create relationships with the children within their care is just something to behold. I think we have small class sizes, so the amount to which we can really facilitate progress and see real learning every day, again squeezing every minute of the day for learning opportunities, is something that I see all the time at BAS. I would say that joining a classroom at BAS is like joining a family, and I become instantly envious of the childhoods and the school years that the children at this school have, because the way that they move up together with their friends from the beginning of the school in nursery and reception all the way to the end of their secondary schooling in the same family is something that I never had, and for that reason I'm a little bit jealous. All of the things that we do outside of the curriculum as well, whether it be World Book Week, whether it be International Day, Sports Day, we've got the Summer Fair, all of these things that provide kind of the icing on the cake away from the academic side of things is another reason why I think that it's very hard to match what we do in Moscow.